WishKeeper is the new Strand Bow that's the reward for completing the Starcrossed mission that came out with today's reset. You can get this bow from doing the normal or the legend version, doesn't matter, but unlocking the full potential of this weapon will be done in legend difficulty over the coming weeks. They'll kind of drip feed us each upgrade, and we'll probably have new secrets and stuff that will show up within the Starcrossed mission. At least that's been the case for previous exotic missions. The mission itself only took us about a half hour on legend difficulty on our first try. It's very straightforward, so I don't think a full guide is necessary for it. The most mechanically intense thing about this mission is that you'll need to pick up buffs from the pools of light and pools of darkness on the ground in order to do the mechanic. The light pools that you can step in will give you the Sire's Obligation buff, and while it's active, it will let you deal damage to those shielded, obdurate phalanx enemies. Hopefully I said that right. The dark pool gets you the Dam's Gift buff, which will let you pass through these orange poison pathways. And if you pick up both buffs at the same time, only in certain encounters, you will get the Crowned by Dragons buff, which basically means that you've got both buffs at the same time. As long as you can understand that, you've pretty much got the mechanics down, and the only thing that's left is just surviving and beating the mostly linear mission. One thing I will mention though is that if you're not caught up with the seasonal questline, you're not going to be able to access this mission, so make sure to get your Wishing the Best questline up to speed. Alright, so once you beat the Hydra boss, you can claim your WishKeeper bow that will actually already be crafted for you, which is pretty nice. I also like how this mission drops the other weapon set that's available from this season, you know, the leafy ones. Until now, the only way to farm for these has been to just spam engrams at Riven, and on legend difficulty, we each got 2 red borders to drop. And I assume you're probably looking at 1 red border for doing it on normal, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But let's talk about the star of the show here, WishKeeper. It's funny now that we have both the Wish Ender and WishKeeper bow in the game, and I gotta say this new bow looks like it might give Wish Ender a run for its money when used correctly. It's got a lot of utility. And first off, we can obviously see that this bow is arguably the most awesome looking bow in the entire game right now. Art team did a fantastic job. As for what makes this bow unique though, we'll first cover its main exotic trait called Snare Weaver. This says that precision hits and final blows build energy towards a Snare Weaver arrow that can be fired from the hip. On impact, Snare Weaver arrows create a pattern of traps that suspend nearby targets. The best way I can describe the mechanics of this bow is if we combined Anarchy and the Verglass Curve. Verglass Curve has that same charge mechanic where you get kills to get charges for the bow, then you fire from the hip and you get all those stasis crystals. And it's like Anarchy with the way how all the traps lay on the ground. So as the description says, we will need to max out our Snare Weaver stacks to use the Snare Weaver arrow. A body shot kill will generate 1 stack, and a precision kill will generate 2 stacks. And we need 6 stacks to get a Snare Weaver arrow, so we should have one of these arrows up all the time. And obviously suspending a target makes it even easier to land those precision shots to get a Snare Weaver arrow back. The trap radius is decent sized, and it actually deals some damage to enemies as they get suspended as well. And I also noticed that if the damage caused by that initial suspend happens to kill an enemy, you will actually get 1 Snare Weaver stack. So the traps can kind of feed you back charges passively as well. WishKeeper's trait is called Silkbound Slayer, which says that this weapon deals bonus damage to suspended targets. You gain faster draw time for a short duration when you suspend a target from any source or damage a suspended target with this weapon. So yeah, easy buffs for this bow itself when you're using it. It just kind of feeds into itself and makes itself very strong. And this damage bonus to suspended targets is 50%, so a massive increase. Next, I want to head to the Enclave to see what other upgrades we have to look forward to over the next coming weeks. First, we've got a few Snare Weaver intrinsic upgrades that will up the stability a bit, but will also allow us to upgrade just about everything else on it as well. I assume these will be done by finding secrets in the Starcrossed mission as the weeks roll on. So we've got a few normal upgrades that bows would have. We can adjust the bowstring, the grip, the arrow itself, to switch up the stats. But we can also change out its catalyst, similar to the other craftable exotics. And we've got 4 to choose from. I think I'm going to be going with the multi-threaded snare refit to suspend more enemies to hopefully get that trap radius even bigger. Hatchling might see some play with Warlock, maybe, but I think either of the snare refits will be what most people go with. And that's about it for WishKeeper. I think I'm really going to love this thing, especially as we unlock all of these upgrades. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And if you are looking for people to run the mission with, don't worry, we've got people in my Discord running it, so make sure to join. Link in the description. All right, everyone, I will see you all there in the Discord or in the next video.